Good evening, everyone. Let's head right into collectively rewilding. I hope you all had a great day. I went out and put out some flyers for CR Garden Consult. It was nerve-wracking. It was not the most pleasant activity because I'm not very quiet at dealing with the rubber bands. At least I wasn't. I got much quieter by the end of it. I had some dogs bark at me. Whew. It was quite uncomfortable, but I did it. It's done, and I probably put out about 2/3 of my flyers. Just a block up here, a few blocks up, and I did 2 blocks up and down. Oh my goodness. Let's go ahead and jump right into garden planning Q&A, and that's where we'll leave any answers that we work on tonight. And we've been working on the garden challenge, but we've missed a couple of weeks of our checklist. So let's jump over and actually look into our garden planner and look at the checklist that we missed. So we might have missed them in January, but we're not going to worry about those. So we're just doing 2 checklists for February, and that's week 1. And again, you're working with those templates, designing your garden. I did some work on that myself when we were working on the portfolio pictures for garden layouts. And I have one now for the front yard and the backyard. And so this is what I did for the front yard, right? So I got it down pretty decently, and I did do it for the backyard too, but I think I must have left it on the pad of graph paper, so it's probably out in my garage. And so that's week 1, and we've been working on a lot of that kind of stuff when we're going into Google Earth and getting your layouts, and you guys have kind of started putting where you want to work with things. Now, what you can do is you can go, and some of you have it easier than others. Let's pull up another tab and close this so we can pull it over there and go into the answers for the garden challenge that you guys have put up. I believe that's in this class even. Let's just check. Yes. So we'll click see more for the featured. And we're looking at like day 5, I want to say. This is day 6. Let's find day 5. No, that's not going to be it. Let's just look at day 6. I can't quite tell what that one is. That's your precipitation. Might have been day 8. No, must have been further back. Okay, so let's go back to day 4. Definitely not there. Interesting. I cannot find it. So let's pull up one of your reports then instead and just highlight what we're talking about. And so Benny had a good large area designated. And so we'll jump into our garden challenge and figure out where in the heck that's at. It's at day 2. Okay, so we did it also a little bit early. We were supposed to just measure like the perimeter or something, and we did all of it in one step. But this is your area over here, Benny. So you could get some rough ideas of your outer perimeter if you wanted to. Of course, here, if we were to go into the Google Earth project, we probably have that saved as a boundary. But when you're out there actually kind of just walking it, you can measure about what your footfall is. This isn't a raised bed. You don't have to be super specific about it. But when you're ordering seed and things like that, and I don't have any to hand, when you get the bigger seed packages, it'll give you like, this will cover so many square feet or so much yardage or things like that. And kind of having an idea of the actual area you're going to be planting will give you a good idea of how much you want to buy. And so when you're doing your pollinator and you're walking off your feet, right, just a rough estimate of it, you want to kind of take note of what you have already growing there up under these trees. Is it still just grass? Is there a lot of bare dirt? Is there a lot of different plant life that's already there? And how much plant life do you want in this area? Do you want it to be high? Do you want it to be low? That's the kind of fun stuff that you get to think about right now. Does that make sense? Some of the different thoughts that you can play with when you're doing this. And you could decide in a pollinator native area like this that you still wanted it to be relatively formal. Perhaps you add borders to the outer edges, or perhaps inside this area, you delineate some specific raised beds, maybe just bare circles with rocks in them, and then just a small amount of dirt that you put up. There were some really neat houses that had some things like that in these houses that I went and did the flyers on today. One of them was so beautifully done. I went ahead and left a flyer because they didn't look like they had any vegetables growing, but they certainly knew what they were doing in their front yard. And they had simple rock barriers with very specifically designed interiors. Some of them had, I believe, some rocks. Some of them had some red mulch, and then some of them were coming up with some bulb plants already, which, yikes, it's only February 12th, and they're already coming up. So we're looking at wanting to go ahead and maybe put some of our directly sown seeds into our garden bed here in a week or two, because even though I've just now started the seedlings finally, yay, last night, they shouldn't be too far behind. I probably could have started them even a month ago, because it has been so warm here in Utah. And that's why you're playing a game of averages. You want to look at your general overall years, but then each year is its own year. And so I've known it was a very warm winter this entire time. I started my seedlings earlier because of it than I would have, wanting to put them out when it gets to 35 to 65, right? Like it's not really going to go below much at 35 at night, and it's going to not go much above 65 in the day. That's our cool plant weather temperatures that we're looking for. We're not going too far out of that already. So it's something to consider that if we want to, we can go ahead and throw the last bags of soil that we want to on there, put some mulch on the top of it, and start direct sowing some carrots and some radishes and the smaller onions that don't need to be started early, things like that, and just really go ahead and start gardening. And so it's kind of weird for you guys down in the South. Perhaps it's cooler than you're normally used to. I don't know if that's still continuing for you, or if your weather is rebounded and it's more your normal type of temperatures. What are you guys looking at down there in the South?
We're looking at negative 800-degree mornings and positive 800-degree afternoons.
So you're colder than normal and warmer than normal at the same time?
Mhm.
Yeah,
That's not fun.
that sound right.
Goodness. So are you already going above 65 in the days?
I have in
Yeah,
Memphis. Yeah, we
Still,
have. I think we got to 68 today.
68. So in a case like that, it might not like it, but it's not going to take out the ability for your plant to keep producing. But if many days in a row happen like that, even at like 68, it's going to start flowering and bolting, going to seed, right? For a cool weather plant. So that's why you guys are already wanting to be getting your tomato seedlings started, your cucumber seedlings started, your watermelon or squash. Those take longer. So those take 120 days in the garden to get to full production for something like a squash plant. And that's why we start those early, so that they have that long time out there before the weather cools off too much. And so that's where you guys are. I'm starting my cool weather seedlings. You're starting your warm weather seedlings.
So what flowers or whatever keeps mosquitoes away? Because we already have terrible mosquitoes already.
Citronella is one of the best. I believe that mints help and some of the more potent herbals. All right, 25 plants. That's a cute little chart. Let's check that out. Oregano, peppermint, basil, geranium. Geranium, I would not have thought so. Lemongrass, tansy, lavender. Again, that surprises me a little bit. Bee balm, marigolds. I had pictured marigolds, but I wasn't certain. A lot of these are surprising to me though. Rosemary, verbena, lemon balm, garlic doesn't surprise me, nor does feverfew, and catnip. So that's interesting. Let's
Can you forward that to me?
I'm going to grab several of them. And then we're going to take it to ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT. Oh my goodness, there's so much going on that I can't make it disappear. Okay, there we go. I'm going to pull up a couple of them here. All right. And so this one has citronella. This one didn't even have citronella. So this one has everything that the first one had with pennyroyal added. So I don't know that we necessarily need that. And then this has some of those that I didn't expect. It talks about the lavender, the lemon balm, the catnip. So I'd say, yep, scented geraniums. Now, that's what it pulls it from, as this is the 25. Let's see what that source is. Do it yourself natural. Okay, that's probably a decent one. It's got a trademark that's registered and it looks very professional. This article alone had 5,000 shares, right? So people are trusting this person. So I think it's a pretty good article. We'll go ahead and just utilize this one. Definitely any of them that I would have recommended and quite a few more. So some really good, very pretty, pleasant plants. Citronella is pleasant enough, but it's not the most beauteous plant, right? Yay. Very nice.
Candace, are you gonna tell her what you're growing?
Ooh.
Mm-hmm. She's growing some.
Yeah, I have me one scallion.
Well, hey, Tammy's had one going, as I'm sure you're aware, for something like 6 years now. So that's a good place to start. That was part of her. Well, I guess you've grown on several properties before, but that was one of your start in this location, wouldn't you say, Miss Tammy?
Yeah, those are. It was just easy to get to the store and
just
put
because
it
you
in
wanted
the
to grow
water.
something.
Yeah.
But
Very
see, it's
cool.
so tall. And I only have it in a little bitty baby jar. And I just started growing it last week. But it is so tall and it's leaning so I
Oh,
told
it needs
her,
a new container then already.
You can
yeah.
cut it. You can cut it,
I'm
girl.
gonna, yeah, we're gonna eat that.
No,
Okay.
you just cut it back. You just
I'm
cut it back
sorry.
and it'll grow again. Just cut it and it'll grow back. Trust me.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, because I cut it down to the little nub. I gave probably about an inch or so and put it in the water and it just shot up. And now it's leaning, and so I was like, nope, I'm gonna cut this back. And my son said, Mama, you got some swords in here growing. And I was like, yeah, that's how long they look. They look like some long swords. But we're gonna eat these because
Nice.
they were really good.
Oh yeah, they'll taste delicious. Excellent. That's wonderful. And Tammy's been sending me tons of pictures. I haven't had a chance to look yet, but I've looked at the ones that'll show me in the notifications, right? And that rock garden is looking so vibrant.
I'm gonna post them on your platform. I'm just trying to figure out like how I'm gonna do it. Maybe I should put like in like a Google Doc or something because there's gonna be like ones that like from the beginning and then in the middle type of thing.
So you can do a couple of different things, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can come in and you can create an article.
Okay.
Right? And they have some new features here in Mighty Networks. And so what you do is this is the body, not the title.
All right.
You type a little slash.
And this is from the computer and slash cell phone?
I haven't played with it on the cell phone. I will check that out and see. It should work somewhat similarly, I would think.
Because I'd be on my phone, you know. So I was just wondering.
Let
And
me
also,
just
I
pull
was
it up.
wondering, on your platform, how do we go about searching for members? Like, on my phone, I'm able to do that when I go through like the chat feature and
Mhm.
look at the members. But how do I do it? How would I know the members on the platform when in the tabs? Like, where do we go to see the members?
Okay, I can show you that. Hold on just one
Okay.
second. Let me see where this is at. Okay, so I'm going to create an article on my phone. Yep, it is the same. So you just type that /. Okay, I'll show you. It has the same basic imagery. I typed a / and then it has some suggested things in the drop down menu here. All right.
Okay, cool. And I can do like videos, right, as well?
Mhm.
Okay, cool beans.
Yep. Okay, so let me just show you again. So if you want to put a bunch of images, you can click image and you can load 3 at a time. But you can put way more than 3. Okay. Then you have a video if you upload it, and then you have a video if you want to take a video link from like YouTube. Okay. Now, if you wanted to create it in Google Docs originally, you could embed it.
Okay.
So that's when it looks like our garden planner. If we go into actually week 1 and week 2, I believe it's in both of them. Let's just check here. You have an embedded Google Doc. And that is what works with this embedding process. Now I can interact.
Where is that?
That is in week 1 on February in the garden planner.
Okay. And what is the template? It's like is this how like where I would put my plants? I'm trying to figure out what this is.
Yes, you can take this and print this and then play with it if you have your area.
Okay.
Right?
I
And so
gotcha.
these are really small and simple. I actually use a pretty large grid paper like I showed you for that layout I had done. So I need a big one, right? But some people like to work with cute and some people don't have the grid paper to hand. So here is an alternative for you if you don't have grid paper, and then you can cut these out and you can move them all over your grid paper. Those are the more wild templates, right? These are your in-ground if you want to do traditional shaped beds. You have an in-ground, but it's not a traditional shaped bed, right? So it's almost more something like this, right? Than a square or a rectangle. It's not quite so puffy, but I don't know that it's quite a circle either, right? So these are all just places that you, or pieces that you can play with. And then you have your container garden too, as well as just round curved pieces and then some squares that are fun to play with.
Oh, way cool.
Right. And then you come up, you know how tabs, I've been working with these tabs on you guys' documents that we've dealt with and things. So right here, it has multiple tabs for you. So now you've done the grids and templates. That's what we just were on. Then you can go to your notes, and there's some notes that you can take for your garden. And so those are the ways that you could work with a Google Doc and have your own tabs, how you have it for what you're doing. Does that make sense? And then you embed the link. You just want to share the document, make sure it's set at viewer so anybody can see it. And then you're in there and you've typed your / and you're going to want to embed. Okay, so then you would just type that. And then all you do is, so if I wanted to do Benny's report, okay, I'm going to hit share. And it's already set to viewer, and I'm going to copy the link, and I'm done, and I'm going to jump over here, and I'm going to put that link in the text field that appeared, and then I'm going to hit save. And you can't interact with it while you're editing, all right? But so then this is a test for Tammy. That doesn't work to hit enter. It drives me crazy. Okay. Yay. And then we'll just hit post, and we won't notify everybody. And then this is what, and it's doing that to me again. Your article is live, but something went wrong. Okay. So it is doing it in my network as well as in Let's Go Help too. Okay, so it did post it though. Yay. Okay, that would have been very frustrating. But that's great. One great thing about Mighty Networks, having our communities here, they really notice those bugs and try to get them worked out right away. And you have that instant communication with them so that they can learn about those problems and get them corrected for you. And so here you have Benny's personal report. And so you have the first 2 pages, right? But you can either click down here, just like in a Google Doc, or you can come up here to your menu and click between the different tabs or sections of Benny's garden plan. Isn't that neat? Overwhelming, intimidating, awesome. What words are we thinking?
Oh no, my dogs were barking. No, I think it's cool. Yeah.
Right? It's fun, huh?
Yeah.
And you can play with it. There's other options in there. So just hit your / and you can scroll through and play with it however you want. There's all kinds of different ways that you can play with it.
Yeah, I have so many other photos and I'm like, how am I gonna put this all together and like make it cool? You know?
And if you want, I can go through and gather what you've sent me and I can create.
Yeah, you can do it. I
can put a reel together for you.
Yeah, I like that part. I like that.
I want to send it back to you so that you can post it, right?
Oh, okay.
But I have the software. I already pay for it. So it's easy for me to go and do it.
Okay, so I'll send you like the photos and then you just do whatever and then you just like send it to me and then I post it, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay, and then you can come on a Zoom with me to help me like pick music for it and stuff.
Okay. Cool beans. I like that.
All of you, any of you that want to do something like that,
yeah,
just let me know. I'm happy to help you put together presentations for our community and for your own social media and things like that. It's fun to do, and I already have the software, and that's what this community is all about, really, right? Encouraging us all to get out there and do this for ourselves. And a part of being excited about doing it for ourselves is sharing it with your friends, your family, your social media, and yes, us here in Collectively Rewilding, right? So let me know. I'm happy to help you guys. All right. Anybody else want to share anything? Any questions about where you're at in the garden this week? Anything at all?
I'm still spreading mulch, but I'm picking up all my orders this weekend.
I'm so excited for you.
All right.
And so you're not going to just put them right in the ground, right? You're going to like harden them off and all that good stuff. Do you have a plan? Do you want to talk about that at all? Do you need help putting together your overview of what your plan is for it?
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
All right, well, let's do that really quick before we leave so that you have it already and we don't have to worry about forgetting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up a brand new Chat GPT, and I just got to keep saying it, Chat GPT. I hardly work with Gemini right now. Chat GPT is just winning. And another great thing about Collectively Rewilding is, of course, it's human, right? And I mean, I talk about AI with you guys. I enjoy AI. I'm using it. You have to if you want to stay valuable and relevant in the modern career world. So I utilize it, but there have been 2 systems now, Claude and OpenAI. And I think Claude just completely created its next tier model. And OpenAI significantly helped create the next OpenAI model. And so what that means is that an AI has become sentient enough to create another AI or part of another AI, which is for humans comparable to having a child, right? So it's some pretty intense stuff out there in that AI world. But here we're going to play with the soil and stay connected to nature and stay grounded in this modern world that is so filled with the overwhelming exhaustion of these brand new opportunities. Yes, they're great sometimes, and sometimes they're necessary and they're not so great, and all these in-between pieces, but they're just flooded on us every day. And a great way to do more than just disconnect, right? We've talked about that now for a decade at least, maybe 2, unplugging from your phone, having a complete social media break. People do all these different pieces. And that's what we're doing here. We're coming in to encourage each other and ourselves to go out away from those complete connections to the electronics and interact with the soil and interact with the water and the seasons, the sun and the rain and the drought and all of the pieces that are interacting with nature. And so that's what's so great about here. But we'd recognize that we are in the age that we're in. And so taking it to ChatGPT. Let's see. We'll put your zip code in if that's all right, Kinda. So let me get it started really quickly. And your zip code, please.
30236.
You have about 15 trees, is that right?
Let's see. Let me pull that up, make it sure. I got the order confirmation. How about that? So I have a mulberry. It's a dwarf everberry mulberry.
Nice.
Two goji berries, a pineapple guava,
Okay, hold on. 2 goji berries. And what was the next one? I'm not familiar with it, I don't think.
pineapple guava.
And you said 1 or 2 of those?
No, just one pineapple.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right, two Georgia native pawpaws,
Nice.
and then I got uh two different strands of honeyberry, and two different strands of jujubes.
Okay.
And then I kind of nerded out. I went to Sam's and they had like stock there, so
You added more. Okay, that's awesome.
I got some grapes,
Okay.
two different varieties of seedless grapes. Um, hold on, let me check.
Okay. That's exciting. Let me start typing that in while you're checking.
Oh. Strawberries and blackberries.
Okay. I'm still a faster writer than I am a typer, so bear with me, everyone. And is the honeyberry one word, 2?
It's one word.
1 word. And is it a tree or a bush, or do you know?
It's one of those. I think it's more of a bush.
I'm going to put in parenthetical question mark so that they know we're not completely sure there. Okay, and then 2 different strains of jujubes. I think I spelled that correctly. 2 strains of seedless grape, strawberries, and blackberries, which are going to form some sort of larger plant, right? The strawberries are going to be more of a ground cover, and then you're talking about like a bush or a shrub or a vine with your blackberries. It just depends. Okay. Oh, and then you had very specific. That was the first one, actually. Didn't get it. Or evergreen.
Oh, it's everbearing.
Everbearing.
Mulberry.
All right. How fun. Okay. So you either already have them or they're going to be arriving in a week, you said?
Well, no, this weekend. I'm
This
gonna.
weekend.
So like starting Saturday.
So you're going to start in on Saturday?
Oh yeah.
Okay, this is a little bit harder than asking for a certain type of a grant or grant-like opportunity, right? Okay, so a CR member in Georgia is planting a food forest, and he has purchased, we just went through the list of all of those wonderful plants. He either already has them or they will be arriving this weekend. He plans to start, I shouldn't say planting, he plans to start working with these different plant types on Saturday, and he would like a plan strategy for hardening them off, planting, and then encouraging their robust healing integration into his food forest. I will provide some additional attachment, or I will provide some attachments with further details and some imagery. Okay, and so then to do that, we'll jump over here to Benny's report and we'll go to docs. We're gonna grab that, and then we'll pull that up, and then so that ChatGPT can see it, we're going to convert it to a PDF. All right, and so let it get fully up. It is, and now we're going to convert to a PDF. I think I already did this as an example for my grant, and they took all the personalization and just the format for what it was, and text was written. But I think I already did this, and then I went ahead and deleted it because I was like, I won't ever need this again. Oops.
My AI requires it, so.
It has to have a PDF. It can't see the Google Docs with the tabs and things like that. So if you want to be able to utilize Docs with the AIs, then you have to be able to convert it to a PDF. And so then once it's done, right, you're going to download that PDF. And then as soon as that's done, then we're going to go back to your query here in ChatGPT, and we will add that file. And that's going to have everything that we put together for your property. Okay.
What? How do you only have one file in your download folder? I have like a trillion.
Oh, I have a lot in my download folder. It's not even like funny. I don't like to keep it this full, but I have all of these for LH2, and then I have stuff going on with like the business, and then I have pictures from dealing with my home warranty. It is so full.
Yeah, oh, I can see all that. I was like, oh, you must be one of those deleters.
I am actually, and I am due for some deletion and reorganizing so that I can. My computer's not acting the way I want it to, and I may have to factory reboot, so I've got to get ready for that. Okay, so we've provided the attachment, and now we're ready to go, and we will let ChatGPT do its thing. It's going to be able to see your property, and it's going to be able to see all of your plans, all of your precipitation and your highs and lows, and just all of that. It has access to it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It says, this is a beautiful plant guild in the making. Ooh, you're ready to go. And Georgia, Jonesboro area gives him a strong growing window. From his report, established last spring frost is around March 31st, right around the beginning of spring. And your last fall frost is at the beginning to first week of November. All right. And summers are hot and humid with regular rainfall, 4 to 5 inches a month. So we are working in a long, warm growing season with intense summer heat. Establishment, timing, and moisture management are key. Below is a clear step-by-step strategy he can begin this Saturday. Phase 1, arrival and hardening off, 3 to 7 days. If plants are coming from a greenhouse or shipping box, they must acclimate gradually. Day 1, arrival, unbox immediately, water lightly if dry, place in bright shade, not full sun. So that means that right outside that shade, it's bright, but you have the shade on the actual plant. And then you want to protect them from the wind. So if it's very windy and you don't have a really sheltered spot that you can put them in the protected shade right next to the sun, you want to keep them inside, right, during that wind. That's your first day. Days 2 to 4, increase sun exposure 1 to 2 hours per day. Keep soil moist but not soggy, and watch for leaf scorch because these guys might be coming from an extremely protected environment. So even though you're going to have a phenomenal environment to provide them, it's different than where they were. Okay. Days 5 to 7, move toward final light conditions. If leaves stay firm and upright, ready to plant. Pawpaws and honeyberries especially need gentle hardening. Pawpaws hate sun shock. All right. And I think that they have a really delicate root as well. Let's just check that out. I was reading something that did. Do pawpaws have a delicate root, taproot? Yes. Pawpaw trees possess a deep, long taproot with a very delicate and brittle root system that is easily damaged during transplant or digging, okay? While the taproot is strong enough to anchor the tree and grow 3 to 5 feet deep, the feeder roots and the root structure as a whole are sensitive to disturbance. Key details regarding pawpaw root system. Transplanting difficulty. Because the taproot is delicate and fragile, pawpaws are notoriously difficult to transplant, particularly from the wild. And these are native, you said. Container grown preferred. Due to the fragile nature of the roots, it is highly recommended to purchase pawpaw trees grown in tall pots or containers. Seedling development. Even small seedlings develop a surprisingly long, deep taproot early on, requiring careful handling. Damage sensitivity. If the taproot is broken or damaged, the plant will suffer significant shock and may die. Okay? To ensure success, handle the root ball with extreme care when planting and avoid trying to move established wild trees. So maybe these were from a nursery, which would, in this case, it sounds better. Even if they're native, they can be from a nursery. And you just want to be extremely careful. My recommendation would be to do your pawpaw trees last so that you've had all of this practice with root structures that aren't quite as delicate. And because these aren't your just typical trees, it would be good to research each of these. And we already have it typed up, so we can ask ChatGPT to look into that next, okay? So let me jump back here. And so those are your hardening off. And then you're going to have a smart placement strategy. It's going to talk to you about your upper canopy, the future shade, your mulberry. It needs to be at least 10 to 15 feet away from structures, full sun, great future shade, plus biomass tree. I'm not exactly sure what that term means. Your mid-story are your pawpaws and your pineapple guava. Your shrub layer is your goji, your jujubes, and your honeyberries. And your ground layer are your strawberries, blackberries, trellis edge system, it says, right? Because you're giving it that room to vine. And then grapes, a fence or trellis system, not in tree canopy. they need probably more sun, and they'll do damage to plants. When plants are vining on others, as I'm sure those of you in the South are much more aware than I am here in the dry West, it will damage those plants, right? And then you're going to go into your planting day method. So this is probably like about 7 days out, 3 to 7 days, but you're not trying to rush. You're really making sure your plants are ready. You've put a big investment in this, and you have big future plans. And this is the bones. This is the structure of your food forest right here, from the base, like it said, to the canopy high. So you're doing a phenomenal job, but you want to protect that investment. So it's better to be slow than fast. And plus that puts you next weekend, right? That's perfect. You've gotten it hardened off in a week, and then you have your holiday, well, your day off, for your weekend. And then it's got your planting, your soil strategy. It recommends a mycorrhizal boost. And it doesn't really talk about what we needed it to as far as the careful handling of the, at least for sure, which one were we talking about? I apologize, the pawpaws. All right, so now let's just copy this, and I encourage you to read through this, and I'm going to give you your encouragement because it is so beautiful what you're doing, Kendaz. And we'll pop this right on into your garden report. Oh, special notes for each plant. It just gives you some really good overall ideas about how the plant is going to, what its needs are going forward. So we still need that extra little bit there. And then you have your Saturday workflow. Okay, now let's copy this and place that in your report. And so we'll call this your food forest first
Plants. Yeah.
All right, I couldn't come up with another F. I was like, dang it. Okay, so here we are. And let's just paste that happy little guy. And it's all so beautiful and ready for you to go through and do all of this beautiful information, do all of this beautifully structured plan, right? I don't know what these weird characters are. Oh, they're saying per your report. Do you want that in there, or do you want that gone?
Yeah, it can be gone. Because it is the report.
Right? It is now, huh? That's true. And so there might be some think in guilds instead of rows. And so that's why it started that off in that first comment. And that means you're going to be grouping things, but you're not going to put them in rows. Does that make sense? Not so much?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? Okay. And think, they've already laid it out for you. You've got your high canopy, your mid canopy, and your ground, right? Okay, so that's all there. Now let's jump back into our same chat GPT and give it a thumbs up because that was excellent. And now we're going to ask, what we'll say is, it is our understanding that the pawpaws especially have to be handled with extreme care when planting. I should say. Can you please outline another section for our planting plan that covers any specific recommendations in regard to plan transplanting? Okay, now we'll get another section for you. You are absolutely correct. Pawpaws require exceptional care when transplanting. They develop a long, fragile taproot early, and root disturbance is the #1 reason for failure. All right, so here's your pawpaws. They arrive, whole preparation. Now, this is not going to do it for all the plants. More consistent than other trees. Okay, so that's specifically for pawpaws. So I didn't really understand what I was wanting. Thank you. But I was hoping for specific instructions that fit each of the planned transplants in the first query. Let me just go up and copy those. Oh, we don't have to go all the way down, or we can hit that. That would be quicker. For a gentle reminder. And then let's make it even easier. Because then we can just put this list into your report as well, so that you just have it for any time you want to do any research. It's just already right there, and you can just go copy it and plop it into your research, right? And then I think it was a bush, so we can take that off. Okay. And you can add to it, of course, as well. Okay, now let's see if it returns something nice. Tree layer transplant protocols. Okay, goji, pineapple guava, Georgia native pawpaws, shrub layer transplant protocols. And look, notice that it too put your pawpaws last, giving you that experience before you handle probably the most delicate. Okay. Shrub layer transplant protocols, honeyberries, your jujubes, and then your vine layer. That's so nice that it's confirming what we were thinking. Okay, your seedless grapes, your strawberries, they're runner vines on the ground. The others like upward vining, right? And then your blackberries. And look, they put sensitivity level, low to moderate, moderate, moderate. Then if you go back to your pawpaws, you'll see it's high, right? This one, honeyberries, moderate to high. So they're heat sensitive. Perhaps you want to do that one last as well. They have it first, but that's something that you will determine for yourself what you want to do, right? And so then you have your seedless grapes, your strawberries, and your blackberries. So wonderful. Georgia climate adjustment, critical for all during the first 30 days. Avoid planting midday, morning or late afternoon only. Deep soak immediately after planting, and watch for 90-degree Fahrenheit plus heat spikes, where you might want to provide some shade cover for them during those first 30 days especially. You've got your ranking in a list right here. Oh my gosh, this is so wonderful. Yeah, it's like scary good these days, right? It really is. Okay, so let's grab this excellent addition to your food forest planting. Okay, we don't need that part this time. We'll just grab the overall piece that we're working on there. And so right below Georgia heat protection critical, you have your ideal workflow. And then do you want it on a new tab or just in another page?
Yeah, it could be on another tab.
So we'll say, oh, don't do that. Did I mess it up? No, I think I had that the way I wanted that. Okay, actually, let's do this though, because this has information in it. We still need to put information in your shade gardens. I have articles that I have planned to put in here, but I haven't got to them. Okay, so back to our food forest. Right below the Georgia heat protection, the ideal Saturday workflow is going to be your next section. And that will be the specific, oops, that's not what I meant to do, delete. This is transplant specific instructions. You'll still be able to see enough of that third word to kind of, let's say plant. We'll just say, even though it's your transplant. And then at the end, we'll put in parentheticals your food forest. Not like your raised bed garden or your walkway runners. It's your food forest, which is your whole property, up to how you design that at least, right? All right, and now we paste that in there. Bam, you have this gorgeous piece that if you have the ability to, I recommend printing it. That way you can really look at it. It'll really help your brain to intake all of this detailed and relatively large amount of important information for you. Mm-hmm. And so even if you go to your library, perhaps they'll let you print it at where you work, you know, anything like that. If you can print up these specific pages, and to do that, what you have to do is highlight that page and print that page, or you could just copy this and put it in its own document and print it up like that. However, that works better for you, right? I think if you just put print, it'll print the whole thing, but that would already be quite a bit of paper. So you want to be specific in what you're printing.
Well, sometimes they give you options like, do you want to print all the tabs or just a single tab?
I haven't played with it very much, so that's very interesting. Good to know. Good to know. I will look for that as we go forward. I'm also getting used to this converting to PDF, so that was what the grant wanted, right? The Tooele County grant, the application, they wanted it in a PDF. They wouldn't accept it in like a Google Doc or a WordPerfect doc or something. It had to be in a PDF. So interesting to play around with all these different toys, and especially to play around with them to get out and play in the soil. That's definitely how I'm utilizing it. I have all of these things. That's why I'm able to keep up with putting out flyers, doing my seedlings, all of that. If I wasn't planning my time so dedicatedly, it would be very hard for me to put the time in outside that I want to. So definitely having that plan will, I think, really help you to feel completely in charge of your process. Whatever you determine that process to be, it will be something that you have completely under your own control. Does that feel like how you would feel with this plan here written out for you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? Does it give you a better idea, or did you have a pretty solid idea of what you were going to do already?
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out exactly what's the optimum placement.
ChatGPT asked if they could do that for you. So what we could do is we could tell them that the provided picture is in the provided PDF garden report. You will find an image of the property where this planting, I keep thinking of builds because I'm building these garden beds, right? Where this planting is taking place. The picture is oriented with north at the traditional top. Allowing you to estimate sun exposure and likely shady areas. Can you please recommend layout to incorporate these plants into a property food forest? See what it does. Test it a little bit, right? Okay. It says absolutely. And yes, the aerial property in the image in the report, pages 6 and 8, is perfect for a first round food forest layout because we can clearly see the house footprint, a large open front left lawn area, dense tree canopy along the bottom and right edges, likely high shade zones near the bottom woods line, likely full zen zones toward the upper left and upper yard. Does that sound accurate?
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful. Okay. And since the image is oriented north up, we can safely assume the south side is toward the bottom, meaning the bottom tree line will cast longer shadows northward. And then it references your report. Isn't that cute? Okay. Below is a recommended layout that matches the plant needs and uses the existing microclimates wisely. Property food forest layout, north up orientation, key site observations. They have your best full sun zones, partial shade transitional zone, heavy shade zone, wind considerations, your master food forest zoning plan. I recommend dividing the property into 3 functional planting zones. Zone 1, your full sun zone is your fruit production zone, and it gives you the plant recommendations and goes more into depth on that even. Then you have your zone 2, your transition understory nursery zone, mid-yard near tree line, and what's best for that area. And then it walks through that more detailed. And your zone 3, your final zone, is your house heat pocket, southern edge zone, near house warm microclimate for your pineapple, guava, some strawberries, optional grape training if structure allows. And then you walk through all of that. You have a suggested overall food forest pattern. Oh, wow, this is going to be really, really fun. And then you can see how well it lays out with what your actual property is and test it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Best planting order for a Saturday, next Saturday being, because some plants are delicate, first priority, plant first, best care. I would switch that, like we've already talked about, right? I would practice with the less delicate. And so if this is your most delicate, this will be your second delicate, third delicate, and fourth delicate. So you also have to look at what you're wanting to do because like these 2 are both more towards the ground layer and trellising and all of that. So definitely feel free to come in and talk about all of this and help us see where you're struggling so that we can help you finalize any plans that you're struggling with, what you want, what their recommendation is, what you like of it, what you don't like of it, all of it, right? Ooh, they can produce an exact map. Let's definitely ask it to do that. But let's grab this. Okay. We'll go ahead and grab this part. And now we're jumping over here. And so that was your plant-specific instructions. And this is your food forest layout. Food forest planting instructions. All right. Keep that baby there. Now let's go back over here and let's take its request. Can produce a more exact placement map, like a mini blueprint. If you tell me, do you have a preferred food forest corner, front yard versus backyard?
Right now, I'm open to any suggestion right now because it's about to come. It's coming.
Either. 2, do you want a walking path, a aesthetic design, or purely production? Or something in between?
Yeah, something in between.
Okay. Let's see where we're at here. Okay. 2, something in between a walking path, aesthetic design, and production. Okay, now 3, do you have a fence line available for grapes?
Not particularly. I have like a cement blockage.
But it's not very high, right?
Well, yeah, it's taller than me.
It's taller than you? And can you anchor things to it so that the vines could use it to grow?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. 3, there is a concrete, is it cinder block concrete?
It's like a wall.
Like with pieces or like solid?
Solid.
Solid?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. A concrete wall that growing structures can be mounted on for break. All right. Now, please produce the suggested more exact placement mini blueprint. Okay. But based on the aerial image alone, the layout above is the best functional. Oh, and we want them to do that too. Okay, copy that so we're ready for next time. Okay, do this, then we'll do that, and then I've got to shut the class down because I have another class over in LH2. Okay, very fun. So let's place this in here. Thank you. Please do this. Let's copy that. Oh, wow. Interesting. Yes, we'll definitely have to spend some time on Monday going over this and just hearing your thoughts after you've had a minute to go over it. And so that was we'll call it more directed instructions.
Placements.
Okay, placements. That's a good idea. There it is.
Oh, I was looking at the for some reason I was in the garden planning Q&A, but I can never find where to get the article from. I mean the plan from. Like I see
All you have
where
to do is search your name and what's new today, and it'll come up. That's your easiest bet for sure. And then just bookmark them so that you always have them. And you can also bookmark them on your browser as well. And we can work on that as well. We're running out of time for today, but we can work on any of that tomorrow. Let's get that one last piece that we wanted for here. That's beautiful. And then now this last piece, and that's the recommendations to keep everything functioning at a high nutrient level, an appropriate nutrient level. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and they're picking really fun plants, really excellent options. And they're giving you the reasons why and some further instructions. And so this will be here. Food forest planting plan is what they called it. So we're pretty well on par there with our labeling. This will stay here. So we can pull this conversation back up and continue on with the requests or suggestions down here or other pieces like that, right? And so this one is going to be next step for food forest. Does that sound good? Food forest next step?
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful. Let's just move this down to the very bottom again so that we can populate that at some point, hopefully in the not too far distant future, and paste that last piece. And so, get that out of there. Beautiful, beautiful setup for you, starting from your third tab, moving forward. And that's why it gets really overwhelming. So take it in a piece at a time and really think about it, and then look at the next one, and then print the pieces that are the most helpful and do things like that to maybe lay it all out on the floor to see the whole big picture. I do that sometimes. Whatever works for your brain to intake this massive amount of extremely valuable information, but still overwhelming in its depth and complexity, right? So find strategies to help you work through the overwhelming amounts of information that AI can help you with. It is helpful, but it is also very disconcerting to have all of that information that's so valuable thrown at you. And the space of 30 minutes, right? And so I'll share this for you again, and then you can just bookmark it from there, Candace.
Nice.
Of course, of course. And so much fun too, right? Let's just embed it. Let's just walk Tammy through it again, and then people can see how much fun that is, and hopefully become encouraged that they would like to do this as well. Oh, I think it's going to do something. I have to push save, and this is, well, let me hit enter. That's so frustrating. All right.
Well, thank you so much.
Absolutely. I'm so excited for you to get to do this.
All right.
Okay. And then actually, let me go like this, and I'm going to hit enter. I'm going to do what I wanted it to do. Let's see. We'll do this, and then back. And now I can hit enter, and I can put something up here. And then let's just put our happy little caption that we had gotten. I think I have it. I do. And so, oh goodness, I've been busy. Here's your updated personal garden report. And that was someone else's report, so we're not worried about that. Could have even been yours. But here is your new report. And then we will post, and we will notify you, but not the whole community. And so it's well worth checking out. And you can go to your next and next and next. You have a lot going on in your report now, Candace. Really fun. I am going to feature it. I think that's worth everybody taking a look at and getting an idea of how far they can take these garden reports. They can go as far as your limit, or as your imagination limits it, right? We can keep adding pieces that are helpful to you to do what you're doing in your outdoor attempts at whatever it may be. Windowsill garden, it doesn't matter. We can keep working on it. It's a lot of fun. And I hope you guys see how these big picture plans are going to help you come to that success that is sometimes hard to attain, right? All right. For our next class this Saturday, or this Sunday, excuse me, will be with Miss Tammy, and that is Tea and Talk with Tammy, Sunday, February 15th at 11:30 a.m. for Pacific, 12:30 p.m. for Mountain, 1:30 p.m. Central, and 2:30 p.m. Eastern. And I will be back with you the following day on Monday, February 16th for Plan Your Wild workshop, and that will be at 4 o'clock p.m. Pacific, 5 o'clock Mountain, 6 o'clock Central, and 7 o'clock Eastern. Hope to see you all there, and I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Candace, we all wish you a tremendous amount of success.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Please feel free to unmute and wish Candace luck and a good night,
Good
everyone.
luck, Candace. We're going to go tree hopping here pretty soon. We're going to be monkeys. All right, you guys. I'll see you guys later.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
See you guys on Monday, hopefully.